Political analysts say United Conservative Party leader Jason Kenney's by-election victory fires the starting pistol on an unofficial 16-month election campaign that will be defined by the skills and personalities of party leaders. "We're dealing with two political heavyweights going head-to-head," said Mount Royal political scientist Wayne Bratt, referring to Kenney and NDP Premier Rachel Notley. "We have a full sitting premier going up against a former federal cabinet minister. We haven't seen that sort of dynamic ever before. Instead of having separate press conferences sniping at one another, they're going to be two sword lengths away in the legislature." Kenney took 72% of the vote to soundly defeat all challengers in Thursday's Calgary-Lowide by-election. He will sit front and center on the official opposition benches when the spring sitting begins, likely in late February. Read more. Kenney crushes by-election opponents at ballot box to win seat in Alberta legislature. Watch below. UCP leader Jason Kenney took over 70% of the vote in Calgary-Lowide by-election Thursday night. The NDP candidate finished a distant second and the Liberals were in third place. Gary Bobrovitz filed this report on December 14, 2017. Laurie Williams, political scientist at Mount Royal, said the dynamic of Kenney versus Notley is crucial. The NDP has been governing for 2.5 years after a lifetime in opposition, while Kenney's team is partly composed of former Wildrose members who have never been in government. "The focus is going to be primarily on the leaders and their visions," said Williams. "There isn't enough to distinguish the two in terms of bench strength to lean a voter one way or the other." Kenney was a longtime Conservative MP and cabinet minister under former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. His win caps an 18-month campaign that saw him successfully unite the centre-right Progressive Conservative and Wildrose parties under one new United Conservative banner. Read more. Jason Kenney wins United Conservative Party leadership. Watch below. Some videos of global news coverage involving Jason Kenney. Observers say the decisive by-election win in a long-time Conservative stronghold doesn't necessarily translate into broader support for Kenney's party or a rejection of Notley's NDP. Calgary pollster Janet Brown said there were different reasons to vote for Kenney in the by-election. "Maybe because you do want him to be the next Premier of Alberta. Maybe you're not sure you want him to be the next Premier of Alberta, but you think we'd have better government if he was in the House, as opposition leader." Kenney declined an interview request Friday. In his victory speech Thursday, he cited Alberta's fragile economy as the fulcrum of the provincial election which Notley must hold sometime in March, April or May of 2019. "We don't want to close hospitals," Kenney told cheering supporters. "We want to build hospitals and schools, and we know that won't happen unless we have a dynamic and growing economy and we understand that we cannot tax and borrow our way to prosperity." Notley's NDP inherited a government heavily reliant on the swings of oil prices, which had plunged by half in and around the 2015 election she won.